So we've been digging into these historical accounts of Mount Everest. The massive peak seems like it just scrapes the sky. And what really grabs you is a sense of mystery that still hangs around it, even today.
Absolutely. It's fascinating.
We're going to explore those early climbs, looking at, well, the successes, obviously, but also the shadows, things we don't quite know about the world's highest mountain. It's like trying to uncover the hidden heart of Everest.
Yeah, and it's interesting how it even appeared on the map, so to speak. It was just there for ages.
Mm.
Then in 1852, British surveyors pinpointed it, called it Peak XV.
Peak XV doesn't quite have the same ring, does it?
Not really, but even then, just knowing that was the highest point on Earth, well, that sparks something. You could almost picture them, the map makers whispering about this huge, silent thing on the horizon. A mystery right there.
For sure. And that mystery, it didn't take long for people to want to solve it. The first really serious attempt came in 1921, right? A British team trying from Tibet.
That's right. They didn't summit, of course, but they were the first to really grapple with the mountain, learn its defenses, you could say. Paved the way.
And then came 1953. The names everyone knows. Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay. Their climb wasn't just about getting to the top. It was like this global moment, a mystery solved, it seemed.
But here's where that mystery gets, well, deeper. Even now, we don't actually know the exact sequence of those last steps. Who got there first?
They never said, did they?
Never. Neither Hillary nor Tenzing ever clarified it. And in that era, with all the focus on individual achievement, national pride, their insistence that it was a team effort is pretty amazing.
Yeah, it almost adds to the mystique.
I think so. Maybe that ambiguity, that shared secret between them and the mountain, maybe that's part of their legend.
It definitely adds something. But that heroic story runs straight into the harsh truth of Everest. Because it's beautiful, obviously, but it's incredibly dangerous.
Yeah.
The line between success and disaster is just so thin up there.
It really is. The altitude itself is a huge invisible killer. As you go higher, there's just less oxygen in every breath.
Right.
Your body struggles big time. That leads to altitude sickness. Starts maybe with a headache, feeling sick, but it can quickly become fatal. Pulmonary edema, cerebral edema.
Your lungs or brain filling with fluid. That sounds terrifying.
It is a stark reminder of how little we belong in that kind of environment.
And then the weather. It sounds less like weather and more like, I don't know, an angry force.
Pretty much. Temperatures drop ridiculously low, winds that can just knock you off your feet, and then suddenly, boom, a snowstorm hits. Visibility drops to nothing. You're lost in white.
Imagine being caught in that. High up, can't see a thing, just pure vulnerability.
And that's before you even get to the death zone, above 8,000 meters.
The death zone. The name says it all, really.
It does. Up there, your body is literally actively dying. You can't acclimatize. Even with extra oxygen, and that oxygen doesn't make it like sea level, not even close. Your brain doesn't work right. Judgment goes.
So every step is exhausting, and any mistake.
Any mistake can be your last. The margin for error just vanishes.
And it's not just the invisible stuff, the altitude, the cold. The mountain itself is trying to get you, isn't it? Avalanches.
Constant threat. These massive slides of snow and ice just roaring down without warning. They bury everything.
And the ground you walk on. Crevasses.
Huge, deep cracks in the ice, sometimes hidden by a thin layer of snow. You fall in one of those, it's hundreds of feet down. Ice walls, unstable rocks. It's treacherous terrain.
Which brings up something more recent and kind of disturbing. The crowds.
Yeah, that's a newer problem, relatively speaking. On the popular routes, especially during the main climbing season, you get these traffic jams, lines of people on the fixed ropes.
It's like a queue up there.
Exactly. And that's dangerous. One person slips, it could take out people below. Plus, it means you're spending more time stuck in the death zone, waiting, burning through your limited energy and oxygen.
Wow. That's a world away from Hillary and Tenzing's climb. A whole different kind of danger.
It really is. A modern layer on top of the mountain's inherent risks.
It paints a complex picture.
Yeah.
But amidst all that danger, it still has these really fascinating details, these echoes from the past and present that make it even more enigmatic.
Definitely. Like the name itself. We call it Everest after Sir George Everest, the British surveyor.
Right.
But the local names, they tell a different story. In Tibetan, it's Chomolungma, goddess mother of the world.
Goddess mother of the world. That's beautiful.
Isn't it? And in Nepali, Sagarmatha, front of the sky, these names speak to a much older, deeper connection, a reverence that existed long before Westerners showed up. Makes you think, doesn't it?
It really does. Gives you a sense of its ancient presence,
Yeah.
and even something as basic as its height that has its own little story.
Yeah, for years, everyone accepted 8,848 meters. Like, that was the number.
Classic figuring.
Exactly. But then, just recently, 2020, China and Nepal worked together, used modern tech, and came up with 8,848.86 meters.
0.8, 6 meters higher, less than a meter.
Seems tiny, right? But it shows how we're still trying to pin down this giant, how even facts evolve. Another layer to its story.
And then there's the really grim aspect, the bodies.
Yes, that's unavoidable, sadly. It's so difficult and dangerous to recover bodies from high up that many climbers who die, they remain there.
Frozen in time.
Exactly, like silent markers.
Oh, sorry.
The story of Green Boots, the climber whose body in his distinctive green boots lay in a cave near the summit path for years.
I've heard about that. Became a landmark almost.
A very macabre landmark, yeah.
Yeah.
It's chilling. Really drives home the ultimate cost for some. Sends a shiver down your spine, really.
It absolutely does. A sobering reality. But, amidst the peril, there are these incredible stories of pushing boundaries, like Junko Tabei.
Ah, yes. First woman to summit, 1975. A huge achievement.
Because for so long, Everest was seen as this purely male challenge. Her climb and all the women who followed, it really changes that narrative, adds another important thread to the story.
Completely. And it's no wonder Everest is so big in our culture. Documentaries, movies, books like John Krakauer's Into Thin Air.
That book had a huge impact, the 1996 disaster.
Exactly. That story, that sudden deadly storm, it showed the world just how fast things can go wrong up there. These stories, even if sometimes dramatized a bit, they feed into that mystery, that powerful pull Everest has on us.
Which kind of leads us to where things are now.
Hmm.
It's a very different scene on Everest compared to those early days, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The sheer number of people trying to climb each year is way up. You mentioned over 900 summits in 2019 alone. That's staggering.
High-altitude tourism, they call it now.
Right. Which is great for those who get the chance, but it brings up serious questions. Safety, environmental impact. What does it mean to climb Everest now?
And the cost has come down, relatively speaking. Still a lot of money, obviously, but maybe $30,000 up to $100,000 for a commercial trip.
Roughly, yeah. Which opens the door to more people. But, like we talked about, that raises concerns too. Are all those people truly experienced enough for what they're facing?
That's a tough question.
Yeah.
And the environment up there must be taking a hit.
Undeniably, waste is a big problem.
Yeah.
Empty oxygen bottles, food wrappers, gear. It accumulates. It clashes with that image of a pristine wilderness.
Are they doing anything about it?
They're trying. Nepal's government, other groups, they have rules now, like requiring climbers to bring down a set amount of trash. But it's a massive challenge, balancing access and preservation.
And I heard they're tightening up regulations too, requiring more proof of climbing experience.
Yes, trying to ensure climbers have the necessary skills and background, aiming for better safety, reducing risks. It seems like a sensible move.
A necessary one, probably.
I'd say so. Look, the story of Everest, it's just this incredible mix. Amazing courage, heartbreaking loss, that persistent mystery, and now this whole new chapter of how we interact with such an extreme place.
So wrapping up this deep dive, you look at Everest today, with more people climbing than ever, the environmental stress. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What's the future for this, this almost mythical roof of the world? How do we balance that human urge to test ourselves, to reach these incredible places, with the need to protect them, to preserve the mystery, maybe? This is a big question, hanging there in the thin air, just as enigmatic as the mountain itself.